It's interesting because for us, it's very clear and a little obvious that, no way someone is 100% something, right? There's no such thing as pure race, whatever, or pure ethnicity of, no, like I'm 100% this. No way. But if you think about like Japan, even though Japan is an island, it had to be populated somehow. And this population came to Japan, passing through the continent, which is like close to Korea, close to China. They had to populate Japan way, way back in the days, right? Before Japan closed down and was like really, really like, oh, here only Japanese live. And like my sister was talking to me, also we have to think about the people who got casted aside and not considered really Japanese that were living here as well, like the indigenous people, which happens like almost everywhere, unfortunately, right?
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about that. The concept
Sure.
of like being pure here in Asia, which is something nuts for us.
Yeah. I think there are various ways of approaching this, because I think for Korea and Japan, the way they see their ethnic purity somehow is different, because like in Japan, it was historically made, this concept of being Japanese, because as my sister said, they had to colonize their own country to bring this homogeneity
Unity.
to the population. And she was saying to me like about Okinawa is very, very different. They have different cultures, they look different, and I guess they're proud of that. And they had to fight for their own rights to be different. Otherwise, like, it's just this process of acculturation, I would say. And Japan has been historically really problematic, I would say, because it was like in imperial period, they colonized many countries around Asia, and Korea was part of the process. They invaded Korea and colonized country. So I think for Korean people, being Korean means a lot, because it's like we have our sovereignty, we're proud of being Koreans, we're like we have our own autonomy and our own power, and we are not like being oppressed by no one. And that's how they find so important, like keeping traditions and being Korean as an ethnicity. And I think this is represented even in the geography of the country. And as I was saying, that here in Seoul is the capital of the country, but they have military bases from the US. And this is painful, really painful, I think, because in history, first, the area of Itaewon was first kind of invaded by China to protect Korea from Japan when Japan first invaded, and they put their military bases there. And then when Korea was finally invaded by Japan, Japan army stayed there as well. And when Korea was fighting for independence, U.S. Army came and put the troops in Itaewon as well. And they are still there nowadays. So when you walk there and you walk close to the station, Noksapyeong or Itaewon, you're going to see those wire fences and say, "Stay away, property of the United States of America." And you're like, what the hell? This is like the capital of Korea. And there's like a foreign landing here as well. And there's like, where's the autonomy? Where's the sovereignty and all those things? I know nowadays they don't say it's colonization because it's like a mutual agreement, but still it's weird for people to see that. And I think it's weird. And it's just power relations. And I think that's why for Korean people, they take so much pride in saying we're Koreans and we're a nation, we're together in this, because they fought together to gain their independence. And in Japan, on the other hand, they take pride in being Japanese because they're like, we're this special people as well. As they used to sing, like the land of the rising sun. We are special. God sent us here, etc., etc. But that's why we need to be really careful about thinking about pure races, because we've seen historically how it doesn't work. It can go really, really bad when you start imposing your superiority on others. Some people, they claim their uniqueness just for defense, I would say, because they've been invaded. They know what is being stripped out of their roots, basically, right? So they need to defend themselves. That's why they assure themselves. Other times it can go on the other hand, like saying we are better because we're unique. So, and that's why I think in Japan and Korea they don't really like mixed people.
But I would say that before we go into the half people, it's important to notice that we do value the, people fighting for their rights and culture and wanting to keep their traditions alive, so to say, as a nation, as a community, as a group of people who belong to the same cultural background, to the same ancestry or lineage. But thinking in a broader perspective, so to say, we have to acknowledge that there is no such thing as this boundary. It is only a concept, it's a construct that people make to protect what's theirs and to say this is me and this is the other. And people don't like the other, don't like the foreigner, don't like the unknown, because it's dangerous, it's unpredictable, and it's outside their comfort zone. But I think we have to put ourselves a little bit higher, and get out of this idea of danger and this construct of the foreigner being something bad, and acknowledge that we are not from one place. We don't have this purity, so to say. It doesn't exist at all. And then we should extend our hands to everyone because we are all somehow connected. We are all somehow coming from the same lineage of human beings, We are a little bit different nowadays in terms of our culture, our looks, and everything. But, you're not special because you're white with blue eyes.
Yeah. That's why, like, taking this DNA test can be really eye-opening to some people, because if they think they take pride in being a certain ethnicity, they realize they are not only that. It makes them think about it, like, why did I think I was special for being this? And also more accepting of others, because if you are a part of many different places, you gotta respect all those different places and incorporating to who you are.
And if you think about human value, everyone has the same value, right? Everyone is human. Everyone has, I believe, a soul, and, is here for a reason. No one is more special than anyone. Even though some people, they have more power in our mindset, in our, perception of this world, having more powers, having more money or whatever, or having a light skin. Some people do think like this. It makes no sense, right? We all have the same intrinsic value as human beings. It doesn't matter our ethnicity, our bank accounts. It doesn't matter any of those because we're all humans. So